Hi, so today I wanted to talk about what I think is currently the biggest issue in the game right now. This is obviously an opinion-based video, and feel free to disagree. And I think actually a lot of you, once you hear my thoughts on this, it'll be pretty unexpected. I don't know if many people share the same opinion that I do, but it's been in the game for many years now, and this only goes for the top level of play, but yeah, I think this is currently the biggest issue in the game, and that would be this hero's skill. Now, you might be thinking, why the heck would this be the biggest issue in the game? And that is because there is a hidden mechanic in this skill that isn't actually written, and that mechanic, at top level play at least, makes this game very uninteractive, repetitive, and boring. It's made the meta, in other words, the strategy that is most optimal, uh, just very bland and generic, and it's very easy to execute. And because of that, for the most part, at least, obviously there's some skill and advanced tactics that better players can utilize, but for the most part, it's made the game very boring. And the hidden mechanic I'm talking about is that this skill grants a slight amount of invincibility to Penthesilea when she activates it. It's very similar to this skill, which we all know and love, except it's written here in the skill. So this is Great Sage's Divine. For 5 seconds becomes immune to all attacks. This is actually the same with Penthesilea's skill. It's just not written in the text. But she has a slight timer where she's invincible to all damage. It might be attacks. I think it's all damage, but it might just be attacks. I'm not sure. But that is what I think is the biggest issue in the game, because when you combine this slight window of invincibility with cooldown reduction on your active skill, specifically through this glyph right here, I get 60% cooldown reduction. You now basically have nearly 100% uptime on this active skill. In other words, you pretty much for 100% of the battle are able to remain invincible. Obviously there's some caveats. It's not 100% uptime, but if you factor in damage reduction, her ability to ignore a lot of damage, and hero aids, and her divine, if you add it all together, she's pretty much unkillable. And I can't really knock it and say it's like a bad idea for players to use it. Obviously, it's the strongest thing in the game, but if you just take a look here, this is the highest ranking arena right now in the depository. Sorry, let me go here. Okay, this is interesting. But if we ignore this one, you'll see that everyone uses this hero. Unexpectedly, everyone knows this by now, of course. And on top of that, if I click on any of these replays, I guarantee you this Penthesilea will have the same glyph that I do. And the amount of invincibility they will have will be able to not only control the entire enemy base, all of their heroes will be dragged over to the Penthesilea, but they'll be clumped up, which makes it perfect to cast all your skills like Zephons and Chrono Keepers. And it really comes down to spam clicking this button over and over, pressing this button once or twice with the Divine Reset with Renee Ven, And the sad part is this is what's been going on for about 5 to 6 years now. And let's just take a look of how it's executed. Again, most of you might not agree that this is the biggest issue in the game, but I think we can all agree that this is the general strategy that's been utilized, and it's not the most fun. It's and beyond being fun and interactive, I think a greater issue that this presents is that all of these people end up doing, for the most part, obviously there's some unique strategies, not to say that they're more skillful, like Sapphirex, for example, but there is, generally speaking, I would say no variety, and everyone's buying the same hero, everyone's upgrading the same upgrades, everyone's getting the same exact setup. There's no uniqueness, my base doesn't feel any more unique than, say, anyone else's, aside from it being stronger or weaker. We're all doing the same thing. And let me just show this to the viewers. Sorry, not that game mode. Let's take a look. This one, Penthesilea, yeah. So here we go. Nothing new to see here. She's taking damage right now because she hasn't casted her skill, but there you go. As you see, she casted it, and there's a slight window where she's not taking any damage. I'm assuming this guy, Roba, he's a good Russian player, has the glyph that reduces the cooldown, so there you go. Once again, so this Penthesilea, just by clicking her skill, has caused, for the most part, the entire enemy base to be focused on her, cast all their skills on her. And I don't really like saying this, but that doesn't take much skill or strategy. Of course it takes money, let's be real. And most of this game is focused around money rather than skill per se. But, you'd like for some skill to be there. That's what I feel keeps players at the end of the day. And still alive, by the way. And that's just what I wanted to say on this issue. If you guys can think of any bigger issues in this game, obviously there's bugs that come up and go, but if you can think of something worse than this, in my opinion, this is the biggest. And just to put it in perspective, try to think of how different the game would be if this hero didn't exist. Not to say she needs to be deleted. I think she personally should have her invincibility frames removed from the skill, but it would force so many people to think of different and unique strategies, and not guarantee such an easy way to get your attacks in. I'll show one more thing before I end the video. One more replay. Just gonna click one at random. What rank is this guy? Let's do a higher ranked one. So he's pretty high. He's 1700. Let's do this one. This guy is rank 1 right now, I believe. So there's no chance that his Penthesilea is dying. And I don't want to keep you guys... just as you can see, I assume none of you are having fun watching this, which just alludes to my point. But, yep, that's it. So thank you for watching. I hope there's a slight chance that IGG sees this and might actually want to do something, but who knows. Yep, so feel free to comment if you share the same opinion that I do, or if you think there's something else.